You found it. It's the real news with your host, David Knight.
But you know, David Hogg has his own conspiracy theories. There's an interesting article on Breitbart by John Nolte talking about the conspiracy theories of David Hogg himself and how he's given a free platform on CNN. Maybe CNN ought to be shut down by YouTube because they're putting out conspiracy theories. John Nolte says during his show on appearances on Sunday, David Hogg, the 17-year-old Florida school shooting witness and anti-gun crusader, revealed the demeanor that was equal parts deer in the headlights and a cult leader from Stephen King's Children of the Corn. Up until Sunday, Hogg had served almost perfectly as the media's avatar of hate toward the NRA, the Second Amendment, and gun owners in general. But that was while he was suffering a wave of emotion. Now that he actually needs to say something that is substantive, something that is beyond, I'm outraged. Just like the character from Children of the Corn, Hogg has revealed himself to be rather pathetic and small. Hogg is still a mean little brat, says Nolte, a bully who is drunk on his own unearned power, but now that wave has crested and he has to switch gears. I tell you, my favorite analogy is a Salem witch hunt. I mean, this is what I'm seeing, you know, these teenagers saying, they did it, burn them. Dana Loesch is a witch, right? And that's basically what he's saying. While appearing on CNN with Brian Stelter, Hogg's bitter immaturity and his belief in childish things made him look equal parts mean, helpless, manipulated, and ridiculous. First, he gave Loesch a promotion from simply being a spokesperson of the NRA to the CEO. He said, we're really trying to stay in the headlines by reacting to what the NRA is saying, trying to point out what Dana is trying to do. I believe she's the CEO of the NRA, and she's still trying to distract people. Then Hogg revealed that Loesch is a super secret lobbyist for gun manufacturers. He said she's a national propagandist for the NRA. She's not really saying anything. She's sounding positive and confident that what she wants the people in the NRA to believe, her 5 million plus members, but she's still actually working with the gun manufacturers. And then Nolte says it's worse. Loesch is an arms dealer who actually sells guns. And David Hogg says she's showing that she doesn't care about NRA members. She doesn't care about the police. Why do you think she's criticizing these people? It's because she's going after them, and she wants her base to continue attacking them so she can sell more guns. And then he goes on. He says, here's what Dana has been saying as a spokesperson for the NRA. She wants to continue to pass laws. She wants people in Congress to pass laws that help out with mental health and things like that. And she says she can't do that. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You own these politicians, he said. Dana Loesch owns these congressmen. That's his conspiracy theory. That's the conspiracy theory of David Hogg. David Hogg goes on to say, she can get them to do things. It's just she doesn't care about these children's lives. She's a witch. Burn her. Burn her. She's a witch. And CNN says, shut down InfoWars. They played what he had to say. And we'll see what they do with this. All right, we'll be right back. I'm David Knight. All right, I just played for you David Hogg's conspiracy theory. Quotes and comments by John Nolte of Breitbart. And he was spot on. Spot on. David Hogg, desperate for attention, saying that Dana Loesch is somehow the leader of a vast criminal conspiracy that owns Congress, and she can do anything that she wants. Let me tell you who owns CNN. Big pharmaceutical companies own CNN. We've known this for quite some time. And, of course, that was when they kicked Alex off when he was talking to Piers Morgan, when he started talking about pharmaceutical drugs and their links to these shootings, whether it is whether the shooter is a patsy or whether the shooter actually is under the effect of those drugs. It's still a part of it. Still a part of it. That's why I focus so much on SSRIs, the subject that will not be approached by CNN or by Fox because they are owned by the big pharmaceutical companies. But let's take a look at some of the other things that are showing up that are kind of interesting in this shooting. Comments that other people are making. We have the Florida Attorney General, Pam Bondi, said that members of the Broward County Sheriff's Department were not honest about why more deputies reportedly failed to enter the building and engage with the shooter. Let's play that clip here.
Morning.
Has he provided amazing leadership?
No, of course not. And Governor Scott has
Talking
called
about the
not
sheriff,
for him to
Sheriff
resign,
Israel.
but for a full investigation into the matter. And I firmly believe that needs to be accomplished. Florida Department of Law Enforcement will be investigating him. I know a lot more than you all do now. So all I'm going to say is, yes, I believe there needs to be a full investigation. I don't think some people were honest.
This is the Florida Attorney General.
We're going to investigate this in Florida, and the right thing will be done.
Pam, was there a stand-down order?
Oh, a stand-down order. Well, if I said that, it'd be a conspiracy theory. She can't talk about it.
But
that would explain why the guys didn't go inside.
Let me put it this way. When you have a school full of students and your duty is to protect those students, if I was there and I didn't have a firearm, I would have gone into that scene. That's what you do. That's what the coach did, who is a true hero. Your job is to protect those students.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So Steve Ducey asked her, was there a stand-down order? You know, if I say something like that, CNN will try to shut our channel down by saying he's promoting conspiracy theories. But, of course, they can promote conspiracy theories about the NRA using their youthful idiot, David Hogg, and nobody says anything about it. Nobody gets any strikes. You know, I don't want CNN shut down. I want them out there. I mean, people need to see the games that the Democrats and the deep state are playing, and CNN is out there in the open putting that stuff out there. No, we don't want them to go away. We want them as part of the debate and the free marketplace of ideas, but they don't want to debate us. They are like the Antifa people, shouting epithets at people. You're a racist. You're a sexist. You're a homophobe. You're a bigot. Shut up. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to address your arguments. You're just going to be censored. And that's the way CNN operates as well. It's a big Antifa organization. But she went on to say, they said, why didn't that officer at the school, why didn't he enter? And she says, well, that's what we're hearing. And I can tell you that I believe some folks in that department were not honest with me, and they're not being honest with the government. But she can't talk about any stand-down orders. She'll talk about all that stuff, but not about the stand-down orders. Now, yesterday, I played a clip for you of a teacher who said she looked down the hall and she saw somebody, as she put it, in full body armor. And I think she said a helmet or something, shooting at people. Whether or not she saw that or whether or not she was under stress or whatever, that was her comment. I found it very interesting that MSNBC would not say, oh, wait a minute. Tell me more about that. I mean, wouldn't you think that they would say something about that? But they just, tell me about where you were grazed on your arm there. Let's talk about something else. Change the subject right there. Now we got a clip from another teacher there at Parkland at the Stoneman Douglas High School. And this is what he has to say. I'll play the clip for you, but this is what he has to say. I assumed that it was a code red drill because they told us earlier in the day that they were going to have a code red drill using blanks. Now, what do we know from past experience when the government stages a drill, schedules a drill at exactly the same time, at exactly the same place, and then a real attack just like the drill happens? What do we know about that? But here's what that teacher has to say.
We start to exit the building. All my kids are in front of me going down the stairwell. I get to the door at the top of the west stairwell in the 1200 building. We hear gunfire. I assume that it's a code red drill because they told us earlier in the day that we're going to be having a code red drill. I assumed it was blanks. So I grabbed all my kids, started yelling at the kids, get back in rooms, get back into rooms. Try to push as many kids into rooms as I can. By the time I get back to my room's door, there's the shooters already up at the tail end of the hall, at the other end, the east end of the building. Heard 2 shots. I didn't see it, but then those 2 shots would have been my friend Scott Beagle getting shot and killed while trying to save his kids. And then he looked down the hallway and started shooting. At this point, I'm pretty much in the middle of the hallway. I go for cover because, well, I realized at this time I can't actually get in my room because my keys are in my room. As I'm going for cover, one of my former students, a kid who's a senior named Joaquin Oliver, screamed, turned, he was shot. At that point, I looked down at the shooter. He looked at me, pointed his AR at me, and started shooting. I pushed all my kids by my door. to save as many of them as I could. As I was doing that, bang, 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 all of a sudden the shooting stopped. I looked down, he was reloading, I yelled run, and then I ran behind as many kids as I could. When I got to the door at the top of the stairwell, there's 2 doors. The closest door, I put my foot there to stop it from opening, hoping to buy my kids some time. As I was leaving, after my kids made it down at least 2 flights of stairs where I couldn't see them anymore, there's a girl on the ground. I shook her, said hey, tried to get her attention, no response, reached for trying to find a pulse of some sort, nothing. At that point, I decided that I did as much as I could for the kids. I now have to make sure I breathe. Went to the 2nd floor, into the conference room, then hid in the men's bathroom till the police came through. 19-year-old young man who had trouble. I didn't know that at the time because he had a mask on, so I didn't know who it was. I just saw a guy with a gun shooting at my kids. Tried to save as many as I could. Unfortunately, I didn't get all of them.
He had a mask on. So maybe that other teacher wasn't having a delusion as well. Maybe somebody should get these 2 guys, this female teacher that we played the clip yesterday and this other teacher that you just heard there, get them together to compare notes. But we don't want to talk about that, do we? They were having a code red drill. They were told that there were going to be blanks that were fired that same day. Where have we seen this before? On 9/11, they were told, surprisingly, that there was going to be an attack using planes and so forth. So they stood down for quite a while. They thought it was a drill. We saw the same thing on 7/7 and the London bombings. They were going to have a drill, a terror attack that day, at that time. So just put that out there for you. Not going to draw any conclusions. You're big boys and girls. You can draw your own conclusions. You can think for yourself. I don't need to connect the dots for you, but you know what's going on. You know what's going on. All right, let's talk about DACA. We got just a couple of minutes here left. DACA. And again, we now have the Supreme Court pushing back, and this decision just came out yesterday. Said we are not going to hear the case that where we had a lower court federal judge basically veto the president. I didn't realize that was in the Constitution. Did you? No, it isn't. It isn't. But we have these judges, as I said before. We don't have any concept anymore about spheres of authority. No, the judges are in charge of everything. And now the vaunted Supreme Court judges, these 9 people who are there for life wearing black robes, these political appointees, said, no, nothing to see here. Let's move on. And so basically they have removed any deadline for DACA. But we're going to talk about what's going on with that and the insanity of this Alice in Wonderland Kafkaesque approach to governing the federal government when we come back. Stay with us. We'll be right back. I'm David Knight.
Introducing Icarin, a 30-day liver and kidney cleanse, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. We have set out with top researchers and developers to bring you the strongest, purest, most potent, documented system for your liver and your kidneys. There are 2 different formula blends in one powerful capsule. It also funds the InfoWar, a total 360 win. Icarin, available now at InfoWarsLife.com.